Hi guys, I'm Jessie of Crochet by Jessie and welcome to my first ever Spring Crochet-Along. I'm so excited to announce that this is week 1 of the Crochet-Along. These videos are going to be released once a week across the next 9 weeks until the entirety of the blanket is done. These videos are intended to supplement the written pattern that I've got. So if you guys would like a copy of that, if you use code YouTube50, you'll get 50% off of the pattern. I'll put the pattern in the link in my description as well. The first section that we're going to be doing is this flower section. It's a repeat you're going to see several times in the blanket. So let's get into it. Today's video is going to be week 1 of my Spring Crochet-Along, and that is going to be this flower chart. So showing you from my example blanket, that is this first section where we are going to be doing some flower repeats. This pattern is going to consist of 2 charts, and it is essentially just going to be one continuing from the other. So you're going to go from chart A to chart B and just back and forth, just so you have like an AB colorway. So the flowers are just going to alternate for the entirety of the row. If you want to follow my overall blanket using the same kind of colour changes, then for this section you're going to need 4 colours. I'm using cream, green, a light pink and then a dark pink. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through how I do a complete repeat of this entire chart here. To start off the blanket, we're going to be using cream yarn or whatever background colour you guys would prefer to use. And you'll see we've got 44 boxes going across, which means 44 chains need to be done to start. So we're going to start off by doing that. I've just finished doing my 44 chains, and what we're going to do before we continue is we're going to do 1 extra chain. We're then going to skip that, and because the entire first row of boxes are blank, we're going to do 44 single crochet. So the entirety of this first row is 44 single crochet, all still using the cream yarn. So what I'll do is I'll just finish this row and then I will get back and show you guys the next step. So I've just finished the first row of single crochet. This is how it is looking. I've finished the final single crochet, and then you're going to chain. You're going to get your scissors, cut your yarn and pull all the way through. And then we're going to start to work on our second row, which is going to be using the green. And then if you look at the chart first, you'll see that the entirety of the second row is completely blank again. So the second row is also going to be completely single crochet. To start our second round, I've got my green yarn ready. We're going to go into the front and back loop of the first stitch. So front and back loop, and we're going to do a single crochet. There we are. And then from this stage up until we get to the last stitch, we are going to be doing a single crochet into the back loop only. So just going into the back loop up until the final stitch, and I'll go to the final stitch in a second and just show you guys how I finish off this row as well. I've just finished up the majority of the second row, so we've done all of our single crochet into the back loop only. We're on to the final stitch of the row, which is the single crochet into the front and back loop. So we're just going to do that first. We're then going to chain, grab our scissors, cut our yarn and pull through. So that is the end of row 2, completely finished. And we're going to go on to our third row now. So it's going back to the cream yarn, but you'll see the entirety of this row has X's. So that means we're going to be doing a row of double crochet, and then I'll cut to that in a second. I have got my cream yarn again. We're going to join in that first stitch by doing a single crochet into the front and back loop. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that we always start and we end our rows by doing this. So that is the first stitch done. And then looking, we've got a complete row, so that will be 42 double crochets. So we're going to loop over and then we drop down into the front loop of that previous row of cream yarn. So just keep doing that all the way until we get to our final stitch, and then I'll show you guys how to finish this row off. And then from the next few rows onwards, we're going to start to see a really pretty design forming. The majority of the third row is now done. You'll see we've essentially hidden all of the green from the previous row. That is intentional. I just feel like it places the overall pattern slightly more central. I feel like that's how I usually like to start my patterns off. And we're going to go into the last stitch, which is the single crochet. We're doing the front and back loop, single crochet. We're then going to chain, grab our scissors, cut our yarn and pull through. And that is row 3 completely done. We'll have a quick look at row 4 now, and then if you see, it's another row completely with blank boxes, and that means we're going to be using the green yarn, and we're just going to be doing another row of single crochet again. So let's get to it. So we've got the green yarn, we've got our swatch slash blanket so far. we're going to do a single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch, because that is always how we start off our rows. And then from that stage onwards, it's going to be another set of single crochets just going into the back loop only up until we get to the last stitch of the row. I will note that for the most part, I've been skipping through partway through this row because it has been essentially the same for the entirety of the row. However, from the next row onwards, I am going to be going through the entirety of the row, just because that's when it starts to get a bit more complicated, because that's when the design is going to start to show. So it is going to be a little bit more in depth from this place onwards, just because you guys know the groundworks. There's not much to do with this when it's just the same stitch that you're going to do for the entirety of the row. But when it starts to change things up, it's just going to be good to give you guys a little bit more support, so you're able to count as you go along with me and just see what you're meant to be doing. So I'm just going to get to the end of this row and then I'll show you guys how I finish it. We just need to finish up the fourth row, so this is how it is looking. We're doing our single crochet into the front and back loop of the final stitch, and then once that's done, we're going to chain, grab our scissors, cut our yarn and pull through. And then from the row 5 onwards, so from the 5th row onwards, we're going to start to really work the design into this actual blanket. So from this next point, the rows are going to get a little bit more complicated, but I'm going to still talk them through every single time for you. We're on to row number 5, so there's a few things I'd like to point out. Looking at this row, we're going to be using the cream yarn here again. And then when we're doing this, we're going to see that it's going and it's shifting between double crochet and single crochet. So we will see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochet to start, 2 single crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 double crochets, 2 single crochets, another 12 double crochet, and then 2 single crochet. And at the end it says that there's 6 double crochet, but the idea is if you're going to be doing pattern repeats, which if you want to make a blanket, you'll need to make it bigger than this, then the 6 at the end here is just then going to go over to the next pattern chart and there'll be a 6 at the start. So essentially at the start and the end of the row of the blanket, it will be 6 double crochets, but then there's always going to be 12 in between the flowers for the rest of the row. So let's get into that now. I've got my cream yarn ready. We're going to do our single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. And then once that is done, we're going to then do a total of 6 double crochets, dropping down into that previous row of the cream yarn. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, nearly there, 5 and 6. So once that is done, we're then going to be starting to work on the bottom part of our flower detailing. So we're going to go into the back loop only and do 2 single crochets. And then once that's done, we're going to be doing a total of 12 double crochet, dropping down into that previous row of the cream yarn. And this is going to be quite a repetitive action, which is good because it just means it's going to be a little bit easier to remember once you get into it. And this is just setting up the groundworks for this entirety of this section, because once that's been sorted, you've got the bottom placement of where the flower is going to go. So from that point, it's going to be a lot easier and you're not necessarily going to have to count quite as much because you're doing the more important counting for this row. I've gone forward a tiny bit and I've just finished the first lot of 12 double crochet. Now that that is done, we're doing 2 single crochet into the back loop only, and then another 12 double crochets. And then in a second, I'm just going to show how it's showing the bottom of the flowers placed next to each other. So you'll see it's a pretty good distance apart. That's just because we are going to be literally branching out in a way, and then the overall flower design is going to be going to this side and then this side. We just want to make sure they don't overlap. So maybe they seem a little bit further away to you than they need to be at the moment, but it does all work up and it does look proportionate and it's not too gappy or spacey once it's done. Our second lot of 12 double crochets are done, so we're going to be doing 2 single crochets into the back loop only. And for the purpose of this pattern swatch, because I am now at the end, it is only going to be 6 double crochets. But for the most part, depending on how big you want the blanket to be, you will just repeat the process of the 12 double crochet and then 2 single crochet, however many times you want a flower repeat. So just going to finish up the last of the double crochets for this row now. That is the 4th one done, 5th one done, and the last one done. And then we're going to do a single crochet into the front and back loop of the last stitch. We're going to chain, cut the yarn, pull through, And that's how it looks like once row 5 is done. Now that row 5 is done, it's time to look at row 6. Row 6 is going to be using the green yarn again, and essentially it's the opposite of row 5. So where in row 5 you were doing the 6 double crochet, in row 6 you're doing 6 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 12 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 12 single crochet, 2 double crochet, and then when it's finishing up for the entirety of the row, another 6 single crochet. So we're going to start off by getting our green yarn, and we're going to do a single crochet into the front and back loop of that first stitch. And then once that's done, we're doing 6 single crochet going into the back loop only. And then once that is done, we're then going to be doing 2 double crochet, dropping down into that previous row of the green yarn. So that is how it's looking at this stage. We're then going to be doing another 6 single crochet, 12 single crochet going into the back loop only. So just going to be keeping this process. And at this point, it's still fairly simple. It's quite nice because I honestly don't think it's an overly complicated pattern. And for me, those are my favorite because it still looks great, but you didn't get yourself a little bit confused, or you didn't make your brain absolutely frazzled in the process. So this is how it's looking. We're now going to do our 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then we've got another 12 single crochets in the back loop only to do after this. And then I'll, in a second, just show you guys how the overall pattern is looking so far for me. So you see now we've got the bottom part of the stem of the flowers worked up. So you're really going to start to see the pattern developing from this point onwards. I'm really happy with this pattern repeat, especially in this blanket, because it's not too time consuming, but I feel like with the colour changes for the flowers specifically, it looks really, really lovely. Okay, 2 double crochets now. 1 and 2. And because I'm finishing up my row, instead of doing another 12, I'm just doing 6 single crochet going into the back loop only. 5 and 6, and then it's a single crochet into the front and back loop of that last stitch. We're going to chain, grab our scissors, cut our yarn and pull through, and that's how it looks at the end of row number 6. With row number 6 done, it's now time to look at row number 7. So row number 7 is using the cream yarn again, and if you have a look, we're changing things up a little bit again. You have 4 double crochets to start. You then have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochets. You then have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 double crochets, another 6 single crochets, 8 double crochets, 6 single crochets, and then when you're finishing the row, then 4 double crochets. So we're just going to start this off now. I've got my cream yarn, and we're going to do our single crochet into the front and back loop of that first stitch. I've got my single crochet in the front and back loop done now, so we're going to do a total of 4 double crochets, 2, 3 and 4, and then after that we're doing 6 single crochet going into the back loop only for the green. 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And then once that's done, we have 8 double crochet, so dropping down to that previous row of the cream to do. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And then once that is done, we're going to be doing another 6 single crochet going into the back loop only of the green. 3, 4, 5 and 6, and this is how it's looking so far. So this section where it's widening up is just to have this next level for the overall stem of the flower, so we're going to be doing that next. We're then doing another 8 double crochet, dropping down to that previous row of the cream yarn. That's 6, 7 and 8, and then once that's done we have another 6 single crochet going into the back loop of the green. 4, 5 and 6. And then once that's done, the only thing we really have to do at this stage is the final of the 4 double crochet that we did at the start of this row as well. So there's not too much left to do. And as always, if you're doing more of the pattern repeats, which you should be doing if you want a full-size blanket, then you're just going to be keeping that previous process up. You're not just going to be doing 4 double crochets here, you'll be doing 8 and then continuing with the rest of the repeat. So I've just got my 3rd double crochet, my 4th double crochet, so all of the double crochets are now done, and then we're doing a single crochet into the front and back loop of the last stitch. We're going to chain, cut our yarn, pull through, and that is the end of row number 7, and this is how it is looking so far. We're now going to be working on row number 8, which is essentially the opposite of row number 7. We're using the green yarn and we're doing 4 single crochet, 6 double crochet, 8 single crochet, 6 double crochet, 8 single crochet, 6 double crochet, and then 4 single crochet. So I'm going to grab the green yarn and we're going to make a start. We're doing a single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. And then once that is done, we're then going to be doing 4 single crochets going into the back loop only. And 4. We're then doing 6 double crochets, but we're just dropping down into that previous front loop of the green yarn. That's 3, 4, 5 and 6. And then once that's done, we're then doing 8 single crochet going into the back loop only. I've just finished off those 8 single crochets here, and then we're having a further 6 double crochet dropping down into that previous row of the green yarn. And from this stage onwards, within the next few rows, you're really going to start to see the detailing of the stem and the leaves of the flower before we get to the slightly more complex colour changing that we're going to be doing. So we've got those 6, we're going to do another 8 single crochet in the back loop only. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So then we have another 6 double crochet dropping down into that previous row of the green yarn, and then we're nearly done with this row as well. So it does work up fairly quickly. Obviously I am doing a smaller swatch, so it is going to be bigger than this, but I feel like the design part starts to work up quite quickly, especially in this section, regardless of how long the actual row is. Yeah, that's probably how I would say. And I would say it's probably my favourite section of the overall blanket design, just because I love the fact that the flower changes colour. Okay, so we do a single crochet into the front and back loop of the final stitch. No, sorry, not the first one. You do it in the first one too, so that's why my brain went a bit silly there. Okay, so this is how it is looking, and so this is the 8th row to be done. So we have got officially, once this next row is done, we're about a third through this flower design. We are just about to start row number 9, so let's get into looking at how it works out on the chart. We'll see that row number 9 is using the cream yarn again, and then it is going to be 2 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 single crochet, 4 double crochet, 10 single crochet, 4 double crochet, 10 single crochet, and then 2 double crochet when you're finishing the row up. So let's start that off by doing the single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. And then once that's done, it's going to be 2 double crochets dropping down to that previous row of cream. We're then doing 10 single crochets going into the back loop only of the green yarn. And that's the 10th. We're then doing 4 double crochet dropping down into that previous row of the cream yarn again, followed by another 10 single crochet into the back loop only for the green yarn. That is the 10th one done again, so another 4 double crochet dropping down into that previous row of the cream yarn. That is how it is looking. We're then going to do 10 single crochet into the back loop only of the green yarn again. We're getting really close to finishing up this row, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do the final 2 double crochets, 1, and 2, and then our single crochet into the front and back loop of the final stitch. We're then going to chain, grab our scissors, cut our yarn, pull through, and that is the row done. So this is row number 9 done. We're now looking onto row number 10. Row number 10 is using the green yarn, and it's going to be a little bit more complicated, but it's only going to last for a few rows from this point. We do 2 single crochet, 2 double, 2 single, 2 double, 2 single, 2 double, and then between the flowers then there's going to be 4 single crochet, and then it's going to be 2 single, 2 double, 2 double, 2 single, 2 double, 2 single, 2 double, 4 single. So I'll go through it step by step as I am actually doing it, because it is a bit of a mouthful to try and say it all in one go. So start off by doing your single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. And then once that's done, we have 2 single crochets into the back loop only to do at the start. Once you've done those 2 single crochet, you're doing 2 double crochet, dropping down into that previous row of the green yarn. After these 2 are done, you're doing 2 single crochet going into the back loop only of the cream yarn, and then another 2 double crochet dropping down to that green yarn, and then another 2 single crochet in the back loop only, and then finally 2 double crochet going down to the green yarn. So that's what you're going to be doing for the actual flower repeat section. And then between those sections, it's 4 single crochet just going into the back loop only. So we're going to do exactly what we did this first one now for this second lot. We're doing 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 essentially. So 2 double crochets, then 2 single crochets in the back loop only, another 2 double crochets. There we are, and then 2 single crochets in the back loop only, and then another 2 double crochets. So that's how the actual repeat is going to be for the flower pattern. That's how it should be looking so far. And then the final section, it's going to be the exact same. So starting off by doing 4 single crochet to get there. We're then doing 2 double crochets to start, 2 single crochet in the back loop only, another 2 double crochets, and then another 2 single crochets into the back loop only, and then 2 more double crochets. And then once that is done, we're then going to be finishing off our row by doing 2 single crochets into the back loop only, and then the final stitch is a single crochet into the front and back loop. We're going to chain, grab our scissors, cut our yarn and pull through, and that's how it looks once row 10 is done. Row 11 is essentially the opposite of row number 10, so you're going to be doing 2 double, 2 single, 2 double, 2 single, 2 double, 2 single, and then 4 double, and repeating that process for the entirety of the row. So we're going to do our single crochet in the front and back loop of that first stitch. And then once that's done, we're doing 2 double crochet, dropping down into that previous row of the cream yarn. Once we've done those 2 double crochet, we're going to do 2 single crochet going into the back loop only, followed by another 2 double crochets. Once those are done, we're doing another 2 single crochets going into the back loop only. And then once that's done, another 2 double crochets. And then again, 2 single crochets going into the back loop only for this next part. And then we've done most of the flower repeat. So then we're going to be doing 4 double crochets going down into that previous row of the cream. 2, 3, and 4. And essentially repeating that same process again, where we're doing the 2 single crochet and then 2 double crochet, another 2 single crochet, 2 double crochet, and then 2 single crochet again. And what I'll do is I'll just get to the end of this row and show you guys how it looks when it is done. So I'm nearly done with row number 11, and this is how it should be looking. So the final stitch after you've done your last 2 double crochet is that single crochet into the front and back loop. You're then going to chain, grab your scissors, cut your yarn and pull through. And this is row number 11 done. Having a look at row number 12, we're using green yarn. We're basically alternating again, so it's going to be 2 single, 2 double, 2 single, 2 double, 2 single, 2 double, and then those 4 single, and we're just going to be repeating that process. So I'm just going to do what I did previously, and I'm just going to talk you guys through the first 2 repeats. So join by doing a single crochet into the front and back loop of that first stitch. We're doing 2 single crochets in the back loop only to start, followed by 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and that's how it's looking already. Another 2 single crochet going into the back loop only, and then another 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. Once that's done, we're doing another 2 single crochet in the back loop only, 1 and 2, and then another 2 double crochets, and then that is going to be the first flower repeat done essentially, besides the bordering stitches. We're doing another 4 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the back loop only as always, then another 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, followed by 2 single crochet in the back loop only, and then another 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, and then 2 single crochets in the back loop only, and then 2 more double crochets. I'll show you guys how it should be looking at this stage. It should be looking like this, and then I'm just going to finish off the row and show you guys how it looks at the end. We're just finishing up row number 12, and that's how it's looking. So the final stitch is the single crochet into the front and back loop of the last stitch. We're going to chain, cut our yarn and pull through, and then the next row we're going to be going on to is row number 13. We're on to row number 13, which is using the cream yarn. I'm just going to join by doing that single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. And then once that's done, I'll do another little walkthrough of the pattern. We're doing 2 double crochets, dropping down to that previous row of cream to start, 1 and 2, and then once that's done, we're doing 2 single crochet going into the back loop only. We're then doing another 2 double crochets, and then 2 more single crochet in the back loop only, another 2 double crochets, and then 2 more single crochets in the back loop only. And then between the flowers, we're then going to be having a total of 4 double crochets. That is the third one I'm just finishing up, and then the fourth, followed by another 2 single crochet in the back loop only, then 2 double crochets, then another 2 single crochets in the back loop only, another 2 double crochets, and then 2 more single crochets into the back loop only. I'm going to finish off this row and show you guys how it should be looking whilst we're finishing it up. This is how row number 13 should be looking right as we're finishing up, and then I'm just going to do that single crochet into the front and back loop of the final stitch. I'm going to chain, grab my scissors, cut my yarn and pull through, and then we're on to row number 14. To give you a simplified explanation of what we're doing with row number 14, the entirety of the row is going to be single crochet except for the middle stem, which is going to be double crochet. So talking you guys through that, I'll just do a single crochet in the front and back loop of the first stitch just to begin. And then we're going to be doing 6 single crochets in the back loop only. 4, 5 and 6. Then we're doing 2 double crochet, dropping down into that middle stem section of the flower. And then we're going to be going single crochet all across 12 stitches until we get to this next one. Just repeat that process until we get to the end of the row. This one is fairly self-explanatory, it's not too complicated. So I'll show you guys what it should be looking like once we get to the end of this row. Row number 14 is nearly done. This is how it should be looking. I'm doing a single crochet into the front and back loop of the last stitch, chain, grab your scissors, cut your yarn and pull through. And that is the end of row number 14, and that's also the last time we're using the green yarn in this pattern. From this stage onwards, we're going to be starting to work on the actual petals of the flower design. We are now onto row number 15, and row 15 is using the cream yarn. You'll see we do 4 double crochet, 6 single crochet, 8 double crochet, 6 single crochet, 8 double crochet, 6 single crochet, and then you go to 4 double crochet when you're just finishing up the entirety of the row. So we're going to start by doing a single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. Once that is done, we're then going to be doing a total of 4 double crochet where we're dropping down into that previous row of the cream yarn. 3 and 4. We're then doing 6 single crochet going into the back loop of the green yarn only. 3, 4, 5 and 6, followed by another 4 single crochet, 4 double crochet, sorry, if you want to do a full pattern repeat. But because we're continuing, we actually do 8, because we're doing the first 4, which is finishing that first repeat, and then the second 4, which is starting the next pattern repeat. And that's number 8 done. So then we're going to be doing another 6 single crochet going into the back loop only. 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then once that's done, we're then doing another 8 double crochet, and I'm just going to finish up this overall row and show you guys what it looks like when it is done. This is how it should be looking once you're finishing up row number 15, and then I'm just going to do my single crochet into the front and back loop of that last stitch, chain, cut my yarn and pull through. So from row number 17 onwards, we're going to be starting to mess around with the colours of the petals, which is going to include changing the colours mid-row. So looking at the overall pattern, we're now working on the petals. So looking at row 16, we're going to be doing a total of 4 single crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochet, 8 single crochet, 6 double crochet, 8 single crochet, 6 double crochet, and then 4 single crochet. So we're just going to be repeating that pattern back and forth. I'm going to start off by using my dark pink yarn. So I'm just going to do this single crochet into the front and back loop of that first stitch. We then have 4 single crochet in the back loop only to do. 2, 3 and 4, and then we have 6 double crochet dropping down into the front loop of that green yarn. 2, 3, and then 4 and 5 and 6, and it's starting to look like a flower already from the stage, which is awesome. And then what you'll see here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 single crochet in between here, but because we're color changing, I'm going to do 4 in this color and 4 in the other color. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm then going to leave a long enough tail just for weaving in the ends. I'm going to cut my yarn like that. I'm going to get the other color that we're going to be working with. I'm just going to loop it through where I'm working on and make sure I tighten it up. And then I'm going to start by doing the rest of the 4 single crochet. I tend to crochet my ends in as I go along just because I feel like it helps keep them more secure overall. But honestly, you guys can do what you want. You do have a bit of freedom with this. So single crochet in the back loop only. I'm obviously trying to single crochet my loose ends in the process at this part here. And then I've got one last one here to do. We're then doing another 6 double crochet dropping down into that row of the green yarn. And then I'll show you guys what it looks like once I've just finished these double crochets, because I already think it's going to be so sleek whenever you have colour changes like this, because you're not going to see this section in the middle, you're just going to see the fact that the rows of the flowers, it's just changing what colour it is. And I feel like that's going to have such a nice finish, and I've done the exact same thing in my blanket and I think it turns out really nice. So after we did those 6 double crochet, we're going to do 4 single crochet in this colour. We're then going to leave a tail, cut our yarn, and we're going to grab our other colour again. And honestly, you can choose however many colours you want to alternate with. You can even choose if you just want to have one colour, but I just think for the purpose of this design, it's nice making it a little bit more complicated at this section. So I'm just attaching it like I did previously, and then I've just got those 4 single crochets that I still need to finish off. So I'm just doing them now, and then again I'm trying to weave the ends in as much as I can just as I'm going along, because I feel like it just makes life a little bit easier for you earlier on. We're going to do another 6 double crochet, dropping into that row of green. And then from this point onwards we are going to be doing the colour changes for the flowers. And for this swatch, every time you do a pattern repeat, it's going to be 3 colour changes. If you do the same thing as me, you may turn around and say, actually, I want to do something different. I want to add more colours. You may want to have a different colour for every single flower in your row. You can do whatever you want, because essentially you would only be colour changing into that section anyway for each flower. So you can do that. So we've got another 4 single crochet to help finish our row off. 3 and 4. And then a single crochet into the front and back loop of that last stitch. We're going to chain, cut our yarn and pull through. And that is the row with our first row of colours for the flowers done. With row 16 done, it's time to get onto row number 17. We are using our cream yarn again. I'm just going to join by doing the single crochet in the front and back loop of that first stitch. And again, I'm just going to talk through this row because this one is a little bit easier, to be honest, especially because we're only using one colour. Start by doing 2 double crochets. If I can do it, that is. I say it's an easy one, and then I have a moment even being able to do a stitch. So that is the 2 double crochet done. We're then going to be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 single crochet going into the back loop only. And the reason we're doing that is just to make the overall petals and the flower detail, it's just making the flower pop out a little bit more. And it makes it, obviously it's still going to be a 2D design, but it just gives a little bit more life into it. And then 9 and 10. We're then going to do 4 double crochet, dropping down into that previous row of the cream yarn. 2, 3, and 4. And then once that's done, we're then going to be doing more of our single crochet, another 10 single crochet going into the back loop only. Just having a moment with my yarn. There we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're going to follow that with the next 4 double crochet. So keep doing that, guys. You'll see now how the colours have just divvied up and are in different sections, which is perfect. And then I'll show you guys what it should look like once the row is done. So just finishing off row number 17, we had 2 double crochets as the last stitches. And then the final stitch is that single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. We're going to chain, cut the yarn and pull through. And then that is row number 17 done. So we're about to start row number 18, and you'll see that is another one where we're going to be doing the colour changes. So I'm going to start by getting the dark pink yarn. We're starting with the same corresponding colour for the first flower. And I'm going to do a single crochet into the front and back loop of this first stitch. So if I can actually get my hook in there, perfect. So single crochet into the front and back loop. And then what we're going to be doing for this row, we're doing 2 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait a second, let's see if I can count right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 double crochet, 4 single crochet, 10 double crochet, 4 single crochet, 10 double crochet, and so on. So we're going to do our 2 single crochet, followed by 10 double crochet. Once the 10 double crochet is done, you'll see that between these 2 flowers we have 4 spaces. We're going to do half of that, so 2 single crochet in the back loop only using this colour. We're then going to leave a tail that is a decent length again, cut the yarn. Then we're going to grab our second pink. I just need to untangle everything that I've been doing. Then we're going to grab our second pink, loop it through in whatever way you guys prefer. And then we're going to do the next 2 single crochet in the back loop only. And then I'm just going to start to crochet the ends in as I go on doing this. It is a little bit faffy, but honestly, in the long run, it's not that complicated and it has such a nice result. So it's definitely worth it in my opinion. So once that's done, we've got another 10 double crochet to do. And that is how it looks once it's done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to the next, well, finish this row, sorry, before we start the next row. So I'm going to finish it off myself and then show you guys what it should look like before we start our next row. This is how it's looking just as I'm finishing off row number 18. And then the final stitch, as always, is that single crochet into the front and back loop of the last stitch, chain, cut the yarn and pull through. And then we're going to be working on row number 19 in a second. We're just about to start row number 19. And if we have a look on the chart, row number 19 is in cream. It is 2 double crochet, 10 single crochet, 4 double crochet, 10 single crochet, 4 double crochet, 10 single crochet, and then when you want to finish the row off, it's 2 double crochet at the end. So we're going to grab our yarn and we're going to do a single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. And this one's quite a self-explanatory row again, to be honest. So 2 double crochet to start off. We are then going to do 10 single crochet going into the back loop only. And then once that is done, we have 4 single crochets, well, not 4 single crochets, 4 double crochets. I swear sometimes Mosaic Crochet does frazzle my brain a bit. So once this is done, you'll see 2 double crochet, 10 single crochet, 4 double crochet. We're just going to keep doing that same thing. So it's going to be 10 single crochet, 4 double crochet, 10 single crochet. So I'm just going to let you guys do that bit and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. This is row number 19 done. So far you'll see that the flowers are looking pretty uniform, and despite being different colours with the outer ones and the middle one, from this stage onwards that is going to change up a little bit from this next specific row, row number 20. So I'll show you guys specifically how I do that. We're using our pink, so before I go through the explanation of this row, I'm just going to be doing that single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. So now that is done, let's talk through this next row. So these rows are just going to show how the flowers differ in design. So the outer flowers are going to be the same, but this is going to differ, this one in the middle. So for this row, it's going to be 4 single crochet and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochet and then 4 single crochet. That's how we're going to repeat this pattern, which essentially means that we're going to have 6 here. So it's going to go inwards for this next row. Whereas with the tulip design, it's going to stay those same 10 stitches going across. So this is just going to stay going upwards. So what I mean by this, I'll just show you guys with the example. We're going to do 4 single crochet going into the back loop only. 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to follow that with 6 single crochets, just dropping down into that previous row of the dark pink. And then you'll already see from this stage that we are going inwards with the overall design, which is completely intentional and made to have the flowers have different designs overall. So that's how this is looking already. We're then going to do 4 single crochets going into the back loop only for this section. And then once that's done, we're going to leave a decent length tail, cut our yarn. We're going to grab our second pink and we're going to just join that up as we usually do. If I can get the yarn in the loop, that is. And then again, I'm just trying to crochet in those loose ends right as I'm starting now, just because I feel like that makes them a little bit more secure. So you will see if we were following the same pattern, we would do another 2 single crochet and then do 4 double crochet to make it look like this at the top here. But we don't want that. We want it to be the exact same height and width as the previous row, which means we're going to be doing 10 double crochet and we're dropping down into that previous row of the lighter pink that we are using again. So the reason I've done this is just to create a little bit of variation in the flower designs, because I didn't want it to be too samey. I did want there to be a few different kind of colours, types of plants, all that kind of stuff. So that is what I decided to do. And it's not too different, but it's just quite a nice finish and it's not too complicated, I think. There we are. So showing you guys, we've got the tulip, which is just staying the exact same height and width. And then we've got our secondary flower. Quite frankly, I cannot remember the name of the flower that this inspired me to make. So I'm not able to say what flower it is specifically, but it's just a different one and it's just a different variation. So they're not all tulips. So what I'm going to do now is I just need to do 2 more single crochet using this colour before I change it. But then I'm just going to leave you guys to do that same repeat that you did for this flower by yourselves. So that's going to be 4 single crochet from this point, 6 double crochet, and then 4 single crochet to finish the row off. This is row number 20 done. So we only have 7 more rows left to do, and then our first week of this crochet along will be complete. Row number 21 is going to be pretty samey throughout, so I'll just do a brief explanation as we go through it. We're going to start by doing our single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. We're then going to do 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, followed by 10 single crochet going into the back loop only of the pink yarn. And we're going to be doing this basically as the same repeat. It doesn't matter that the flower shape is different because we are just going to be doing the same thing overall. So I'm just going to finish these 10 single crochet just to start off. 9 and 10. This is going to be followed by, once I finish the 10th one again, this is going to be followed by 4 double crochet, dropping down to that previous row of the cream yarn. And then we're essentially going to do the exact same thing again. We're going to be doing another 10 single crochet, and so it'll be 10 single crochet, 4 double crochet, 10 single crochet, 2 double crochet. So I'm just going to let you guys do the rest of that, and then I'll show you how it looks when it is done. That is row number 21 done. This is how it's looking, and the next row is actually going to be the last row for the tulip detailing in the middle. The other flowers are going to take a tiny bit longer to complete, but I kind of like that the height is a bit different. I chose it intentionally just because I feel like it just adds a little bit more depth to the overall design. So let's get into our 22nd row. Before we physically start crocheting, let's do a little talk through. We have 2 single crochet, 10 double crochet, and then 4 single crochet, and that's the first flower. The tulip, instead of having the 10 double crochet, it's 2 double crochet, 2 single crochet, 2 double crochet, 2 single crochet, and then 2 double crochet. So I'm going to grab the yarn to start off. We're starting off with our same dark pink that we always do at the start of this swatch. So we're going to do a single crochet into the front and back loop of that first stitch, followed by 2 single crochets going into the back loop only, then 10 double crochets going down into that previous row of the pink yarn, and then once that is done, we're going to do 2 single crochets in the back loop only. Because we need to change the colour, we're going to just keep it at that halfway point. We're going to cut the yarn and leave a decent sized tail. We're going to get our secondary pink colour and just join by pulling it through the loop. We then have 2 more single crochets to finish using that colour. And again, I'm just going to be having a bit of a fiddle because I'm trying to get the loose ends crocheted in as I do that, because I really think it makes it feel a lot more secure. Okay, so this one is going to differ slightly. Instead of just doing those 10 double crochet going across, we're going to do 2 double crochet. And then after that is done, we're going to do 2 single crochet. If I can go into the right stitch, there we are. 1 and 2, followed by another 2 double crochet. And then another 2 single crochet. And then another 2 double crochet just to finish off this. We're then going to do 2 single crochet going into the back loop only. That is the second lot of the flowers done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let you guys finish the rest of this row because we're doing what we previously did. You're going to change your colour at this point, do 2 single crochet, 10 double crochet, 2 single crochet. So I'll get to the end of the row and then I'll show you what it looks like. Row number 22 is done. This is how it looks. This is actually the last row that we're going to be using this colour at all. So from this stage, we're just going to be using a singular colour going across for each row, which will make things a bit easier. So let's get on to row number 23. Row number 23 is using the cream yarn. We're going to do a single crochet into the front and back loop of that first stitch just to join up. The first thing we're going to do once we've done that is 2 double crochet, dropping down into these 2 stitches that were in cream in the previous row of cream, not the previous row in general. So we're then going to do 10 single crochet going into the back loop only across the top of this pink flower here. Once that's done, we have 4 double crochets to do. There we are. We're then going to be alternating a little bit here. So we have 2 single crochet, followed by 2 double crochet. Then another 2 single crochet and another 2 double crochet. and then another 2 single crochet. And then I'm just going to finish that off with 2 double crochet just to finish off that repeat. That is how it's looking, guys. That you'll see now the tulip is done. So we just have to work one more row for this flower, but the tulip is completely finished. I love how it's looking. And we're just going to finish that row by doing the same repeat. So after you've done that, you've got 4 double crochets here. I've already done the first 2, 10 single crochet, 2 double crochet, and then I'll finish when this row is done, show you guys how it's looking, and then we'll get on to the next row. This is how it's looking with row 23 done, so let's get on to row number 24. Row number 24 is going to be quite a basic one, so I am just going to talk through as I am doing it for you guys. We're going to do our single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. Once that's done, we're going to do 4 single crochet going into the back loop only, followed by 6 double crochet going into that previous row of the pink yarn. And that's the 6th one done. For this next section, because the tulip is done, we're just going to go across all the way up until we get to the other flower and just do single crochet going into the back loop only, because we don't need to do anything else with that tulip repeat. And because of that, it also means that we don't need to change the colour going over this section either, which is just going to make it a little bit easier from this stage as well. So yeah, we're just going to keep doing single crochet going into the back loop only, just working across the top of the tulip. And then once that is done, you're just going to do exactly what you did with the first flower for the last one. So just keep imagining that I'm doing my single crochet going over. You're going to then do 2 single crochet over the top of those first 2 stitches, and then drop down for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochet, and then you're going to do another 4 single crochet in the back loop only. So do that, and then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when it's done. This is how row 24 looks like when it's done. You'll see that this flower and this flower has a little bit more height, and it is officially done. So from this stage onwards, we're just going to be working on adding some background to it and just making sure that it is centered. So let's get on to row number 25 to do this. Row number 25 is going to be another fairly basic one. We're going to be doing single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. And then it's not going to be anything overly complicated. You guys have gotten through the most difficult part of this pattern repeat already. You're well and truly on the road of being done with this first week of the crochet along. So we're going to start by doing 4 double crochets, dropping down into that previous row of the cream yarn. And 4. And then you're going to be doing 6 single crochet going across the top of the flower, just going into the back loop only. And then once that is done, you're essentially going to be doing a lot more double crochets up until you get to this next flower. So from this point onwards, you're going to do double crochet going all the way across. I'll just count it out just so you guys can specifically know how many to do. You're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 double crochets. So 22 double crochets from this point, 6 single crochets, and then 4 double crochets, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it is done. That is row number 25 done. We only have 2 more rows left for this week's part of the crochet along. So these ones are going to be the easiest of all. We're just going to basically be mirroring what we did when we were doing the setup stitches right at the start. We're going to have a row of single crochet and a row of double crochet. So that is literally all we have left. So let's get to it. Looking at our pattern chart onto row number 26, the entire row is blank, which means we're doing a row using single crochet only. Just going to grab my yarn. I've made a bit of a mess for myself, so try and keep it more organised when you do it in comparison to what I have done. I think I'm just a bit of a messy crocheter, to be honest. So single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch. And then from that point up until we get to the final stitch where we're going to do that same single crochet in the front and back loop, we're just going to do an entire row of single crochet going into the back loop only. So keep doing this. We're not going to go into these flowers anymore because we've done everything that we need to do for them. So just keep doing the exact same stitch. It's not complicated. It's literally just kind of like a reverse of the setup that we did at the start of this swatch. So keep doing that, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's done. This is row 26 done. We just have 1 row left to do, and that is going to be using the cream yarn, and we're going to be doing a row of double crochet. So I'll just show you guys how it looks on the charts. Looking at the pattern chart in comparison to the swatch, the top row is a row full of X's, so that means it's a row of double crochet. So I'm just going to grab the cream yarn. There we are. I really have made a bit of a mess, so it's hard to find the loose ends. So yeah, make sure your yarn is a little bit more separate than mine is. I made sure mine isn't because I wanted you guys to see all the colours I was working with. So we're doing a single crochet into the front and back loop of the first stitch, and then we're doing a complete row of double crochet up until we get to that last stitch where we're just going to do that same front and back loop single crochet. So as we are coming to the end of week 1 for the crochet along, please let me know what you think in the comments below. This is so much fun, and it's my first full-size crochet along where I also show you guys the finished piece in advance so you fully know what it is that you guys are going to be making. So yeah, I've had so much fun doing this. It's been a really fun design process, and if you're excited for week 2, then do let me know as well in the comments below. So I'm going to show you guys what this looks like when the row is finished, so I'll just take you to that now. That is row number 27 done, and that means that this week's section of the crochet along is finished. If you've enjoyed it as much as I have, then please do let me know in the comments below, and I'm so excited to go through the next section of our crochet along in next week's video. By this stage, you should hopefully have a row of flowers like this, but obviously more flowers, because if you want to make a whole blanket, you're going to need a little bit more than this. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and if you want to continue to follow the crochet along and make sure that you don't miss out, if you're not already subscribing, then please do, as well as pressing the bell to be notified when my next video is up, because you don't want to miss this. We want to get this done as quick as we can. So yeah, thank you as always for watching, guys, and I'm so excited to see you in week 2 of my spring crochet along. Thank you for watching.